How can I tell that this is right for me?
Even though I deal with people who have what we call, they go into allopathic doctors, which is more your traditional, the kind of Western medicine, your acupuncturists and naturopaths and so forth, and or it can have to do with a kind of fundamental condition, which is you feel like you're lost in life, like your ailment, if we could call it that, or your lack of balance in relationship with life, is that you're finding some way to connect to being in the world or your life, and that could be the result of psychologists might say, well, they've had some trauma in their life, and so they've been having a hard time healing from that. They've had other conditions that fit these modalities that seem persistent, or some people who've had a variety of spiritual work. So, but you find that there is let's call it a recognition of your life, or because that can be actually, it doesn't have to be exactly related to your, let's call your physicality. It could just be about what might be in Western view be seen as more about mental health. And of course, in the Wixarika Highlands, they don't have mental hospitals. They don't have suicides. They're very, call it psychologically healthy, because they have this way of living and this view, and it might be about that. So you have some persistent condition that seems to be dogging you, affecting you, slowing you down, however it fits with that. And you've tried different modalities or certain frequencies, and you say, I really want to get this, I want a big push for this. I want to move in another direction where I feel more well-being, a sense of well-being. That might be the most broadest way to explore it. It's all going to be done in a ceremonial setting. So we're literally have a ceremonial field which produces it's a flux in reality. So probably the best way to understand it in the Western mind, it's a flux, a softening of reality, so some benefit or transformation can occur. And I'm going to have a very capable staff of other Makati who will be there to assist me. So we have a whole team, and we will get that moving. So if that's what's going on for you, then this could very well be the work you need.
Is there a limit to how many people you want to have in this group?
Yeah, I select limit to 12 people.
Okay. Are you using plant spirit medicine, or is this a completely different modality?
This is completely different. This is Wixarika, you call it Wixarika Professional Shamanism.
Okay.
And so we're not working with plants, we're working with divine forces. Sometimes you call them gods or goddesses that I have a level of history and influential relationship with, along with cleanings, extractions, exercises, group and individual. So there's a whole collection of engagements. But for the modality plant spirit medicine, no, we need something far more strong.
When this healing intensive is going to occur?
July 29th, the 29th to the 3rd. And so there'll be arrival on the 28th, and then people are free to leave on the 4th.
And this will be at the Blue Deer Center?
This will be at the Blue Deer Center. They'll post a link so you can find more information, and you can find how to register, and you'll find dates and so forth.
Okay.
Now, let me say a little bit more about the process to see if this is helpful. What we do is we go through a bit of a screening process. So step one is if you're interested, you need to apply for it, because I want to make sure that, okay, this is a good fit for the work we'll be doing. So there's a very short form application so that I can just make sure that, we're on the same page. And then after that comes a longer form where I'm going to ask a lot of questions to get to know you, to know your history, what you've been engaged in. So I've got to create a village sense of you in a short term. And again, to continue to see how appropriate this is. So when you arrive, we can get right to work, give you those benefits that you're hoping to achieve.
What can we expect once we've been on this process with you on the healing intensive? What comes after that?
After your time, I will be doing a check-in. But before I release you, I will send you a list of recommendations to maintain the benefits that you've received. Because think of it like this way, okay? So say let's use the example of you've had a congenital problem with your arm, a deformity. You go to a surgeon, and what they do is they do an operation. That's a version of a very intense, invasive engagement. And they reset the bone and they rebuild the area so that it's now operating in a healthy, aligned way. So now after the surgery, what you need is, well, there's some recovery because the shift that is made, now you need to incorporate that in your life. Let's not use the arm, let's use a leg. A leg is probably a good example. But you've had to adapt your life to the problem or the imbalance, the situation. So after you have the surgery, in this metaphoric example, the physical therapist says, okay, here's some exercises you need to do that will better integrate that. These are some of the changes you need to make that will help deepen and incorporate the shifts that have been made in your well-being. And so I have a list of custom instructions for your particular situation. Sometimes I have a healthcare professional refer people to me. And what I do is I give them a little referral report to say, thank you for referring me. And then now I'll do a follow-up with you. So to see how it's going, I'll give you a little time to see how that is working in your life and what's happening. And then I'll check in with you. And then I'll make an assessment of additional care if necessary or additional recommendations to make sure that you integrate those benefits as a way in your life. Because this is a living medicine. It's a whole different way of seeing what constitutes health. It has to do with a relationship with others, the other than human others, and so that you feel like you are more integrated as part of a living life, living interactive, dynamic life. So for Western people, that takes a little time to integrate that. I know because I teach the tradition to Western apprentices. It takes a little to shift them from the view of the conditions of this world to see another view that produces far better opportunities for well-being. And so that's where I will do some custom suggestions, do some follow-up, so that you can continue deepening your benefits.